Alright, well, she's almost done. Didn't turn out exactly the way I pictured it in my head. The main reason is I couldn't really find really large stones. I mean, there's a couple good sized ones, like there's a big one right there, but most of them are, you know, like football sized. So for the waterfall, it didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. But it'll work. I think once I get it finished off and get the plants put in, I think it'll be alright. You know, keeping it clean is going to be difficult with this tree, but it is what it is. I still gotta do the hose for this and that. I gotta hide all that. Right now these are running off of their own small pump down here. The filter for this, for the main system, is right there. I'm actually going to take this and run the hoses back there, and when I get the fittings, I'll connect that to the main pump, so everything runs off of one pump instead of having two different pumps. But, so the idea is, and you'll have to use your imagination until there's plants up here, but there's going to be probably some large elephant ears up here that come up like 3 feet tall, some of those big ones, and then some smaller stuff out through here. And the way I did this is, you know, like in nature, rocks will fall and roll down the hill, and you probably can't tell real well on the camera because all the dirt just kind of blends in, but it's not just a wall with rocks stuck in it. It's kind of tiered, like there's a step out this way here and a step out this way here. That way it looks like rocks fell over time, rolled down the hill, and then dirt's piled up behind the rocks like it would in nature. Like I mean there's a good, it's not flat, but you know, like there's a good foot almost of planting spot there, and then I'll plant flowers and stuff all through there. The ground will be raised later on. I gotta finish this border wall at some point, and then I'll raise the ground up to just below the foundation. Kind of like that is. This is a little high over here. Got a little extra dirt there, but I think it turned out okay. I've got to come back in. I'm gonna shut it off tonight, let it dry, and then I got to come back in tomorrow and foam in between the rocks. Most of the water is actually going back underneath these big rocks here. So I got to come back in with some gravel and some foam. You foam it and shove gravel into the foam to hide the foam. And that forces the water to stay on top of the rocks rather than getting back and going behind them. Because right now it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of water there. Kind of the idea here was not in like a waterfall per se. It was more of a like a spring, like it's a spring coming out of a hill was kind of the idea, like a little babbling brook type thing was what I was going for. We'll see how it looks when it's completely finished. I will say I am exhausted. We got a little bit of gravel to go down in there in the bottom. This water's probably always going to have a yellow tinge to it, just because of all the tree debris. I'll clean it out as often as I can, as much as I have time for, but it's always going to have a little bit of a yellow tinge to it. It's going to have some goldfish in there to keep mosquitoes down, which actually mosquitoes don't do real well with moving water. So it shouldn't be an issue anyway, but there will be goldfish in there. This guy, I've got to put a valve on it because it's got too much pressure. It's spraying too much. And again, there's going to be plants over there too, so all that will kind of be hidden. Yes, getting to my water hose is going to be difficult now. It is what it is. If I got rid of the turtle or moved it somewhere else, it actually wouldn't be that bad, because then I could just step on that flat stone right there. Right there is the water faucet. I intentionally hid that. There's this rock here, which is actually supposed to be setting over the top of that, so you can't even tell it's there. You can kind of sort of see there's a stepping stone paver right there. That's not necessarily to step on. That's actually because there's a sewer clean out right there. That's how I'm marking where it is. Yes, it will be a pain in the butt if we ever actually have to use it, because it's very deep. Even before I raised the ground up, it was like you open up the cap and there was like a foot or two down before you actually got to the sewer pipe. And then I've raised the ground up a good 3 or 4 inches since then. So basically you take that stone off, you dig a little bit, there's like 3 inches or so of dirt underneath that, and then there's a cap you gotta take off. But it's not really something you gotta access very often, so I'm not too worried about it. There'll be a bunch of ferns and stuff planted back there. And then, like I said, gravel in the bottom of these. That one will be bare bottom. We won't have gravel, that way it's easy to clean out. Like I said, the filter's right there. I'm not going to cover the filter with rocks or anything, but I am going to put some plants around it. It would be easier to hide the filter if I put it up on the top and then plant it around it. But the idea was, if I put it right here, it's right next to the patio or the porch or whatever, so it's super easy to clean. And you know how it goes. Yeah, the easier it is to do something, the more likely it is to get done. If it's hard to climb over plants and stuff to get all the way to the top back there, it's probably never going to get cleaned, just to be honest. So, I think it turned out okay. I guess from here you can kind of see what I meant by the steps is this has got a little bit too much dirt here. There'll be some plants there. There's a good sized step here, a step there, a little bit here. And then on the back side, there's a big step there and a big step there. There's not as many rocks, and it's kind of more of a cliff. Like, I used bigger rocks back there, and the reason why is because of all this stuff. I can't smooth it out further out. I had to kind of stop the ledge as quick as possible right there. Yes, I know you're not supposed to pile up dirt up against the house. Most of it is not actually, most of the dirt's not touching the wall. There's bricks on the behind it, and then I got some liner backed up against some of that with some gravel, so any water that gets back there can drain out from the sides. And then there is a little bit of dirt over the top of that, just to kind of hide it. But no, the dirt's not directly up against the house. So I gotta still do something with all this mess over there. And so I guess I went and bought a cubic yard of dirt, and used, I guess, half of it to finish this off on top of all the dirt that I brought up here from the backyard. I gotta take the rest of this to pile up in the new project in the backyard. That will be a coming soon long-term project that will be done in stages. Big plans for the backyard, involving much larger rocks, hopefully, if I can find a place to buy them. So, alright guys, I'm rambling, so bye.